Hi, welcome back. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. We're looking at cell structure in topic 1 of cell biology. We will study animal and plant cells with some tips and exam questions. As we've studied before, animal and plant cells are eukaryotes. Both animal and plant cells have cytoplasm, cell membrane, genetic material inside a nucleus, mitochondria and ribosomes. Difference is that the plant cell also has chloroplast, a vacuole and cell wall. For GCSE biology, you will need to know the structures and functions for both animal and plant cells. Let's start off with animal cell. Animal cell has cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a gel-like structure containing enzymes which are important in chemical reactions, and the cytoplasm is where all chemical reactions happen. We then have ribosomes. In ribosomes, we learnt ribosomes are to do with building proteins. It also has a nucleus. Nucleus contains genetic material such as the DNA. It also has a cell membrane. The cell membrane is responsible for controlling what enters and leaves the cell. The plant cell also has cytoplasm. We know that the cytoplasm is the gel-like structure containing enzymes where chemical reactions happen. Also has ribosomes. The plant cell also has a nucleus and a cell membrane. And finally, for both animal and plant cell, we have mitochondria. Mitochondria, remember, is to do with energy and respiration. Tip for today is that mitochondria is to do with aerobic respiration, and when we think of aerobic, we should think of oxygen. Let's now look at the difference between the animal and the plant cell. The plant cell also has something called the vacuole. The vacuole is to do with cell sap. Whenever we think of the vacuole, we should think of cell sap, which is a weak solution of salt and sugars. Plant cells also have a cell wall. Cell wall is very important because the cell wall is made up of cellulose, which strengthens the cell and keeps it rigid. Lastly, the plant cell also has chloroplast. Chloroplast contains a substance which is green called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is vital in photosynthesis because it is chlorophyll that absorbs the sunlight. So another tip is, every time we think of chlorophyll, we should think of sunlight and absorption, as well as the process of photosynthesis. Now let's look at all we've learnt in a table. First of all, the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. A plant cell has a cell wall, but an animal cell doesn't have a cell wall. Now Another structure a plant cell has is the cell vacuole that the animal cell doesn't have a vacuole. It also has chloroplast, but the animal cell has no chloroplast. The things that are similar in both animal and plant cells, which are the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the membrane. And we can see all these three things together. This brings us to the last section of the exam questions. Question 1. Diagram 1 shows a cell from a leaf. So that means this is a plant cell. We have in the plant cell the cell membrane, we have the nucleus, the cytoplasm, the cell wall, chloroplast, vacuole, and mitochondria. Before we move on to the next part of the question, I just want you to think back of all the key words to do with each of these structures. You can pause at this point if you want. So let's look at cell wall. The key word to do with cell wall was cellulose and being rigid. The chloroplast was to do with photosynthesis. The keyword associated with vacuole is cell sap. And mitochondria, we remember energy was a keyword, and also aerobic respiration. Cell membrane was to do with entry of substances in and out of the cell. Nucleus was to do with genetic material. And lastly, the cytoplasm was to do with chemical reactions and enzymes. This should make our next part of the question very easy. So how is the leaf cell specialised to carry out photosynthesis? So all we have to do is look at the top and see which of those structures is associated with photosynthesis. And we can see here photosynthesis and chloroplast. So our answer is chloroplast. Part B of the question, diagram 2, shows another type of plant cell. Give 2 ways in which the cell is different from an animal cell. We can now think back to our table, so we know both animal and plant cell have mitochondria to do with energy. They have cytoplasm to do with chemical reactions. They have cell membrane to do with substances entering and leaving the cell. They have the nucleus, which is responsible for controlling the cell and has the genetic material in it. So 2 ways in which the cell is different from an animal cell is that the plant cell has a vacuole. Also, the plant cell has a cell wall. This question was worth 3 marks. The linking word for today is chloroplast. Every time we think of chloroplast, we should think of green. When we think of green, we should think of the chlorophyll. When we think of chlorophyll, we should think of a pigment which absorbs sunlight. When we think of the sunlight, we should then think of photosynthesis. Thinking of photosynthesis should make us think of food for the plant, when we think of food for the plant, we should think of glucose. Thank you for watching. Join me for the next topic. Remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel.